Oh, this is what happens if you don't pay your student loans. So a couple years ago, I was in college and I had to get some federal student loans. I got kicked out of ROTC. It's a long story, but I needed the loans to finish my film studies degree. Now, when I got these loans, I was told that it was financial aid. Now, I don't know what you think the definition of aid is, but I had no idea you were supposed to pay them back. I didn't find out till I got out of school and I started getting emails about making payments and shit. I thought it was a scam, so I blocked the email and deleted everything.
Is this guy joking? Is this guy joking? I hope he's joking. I hope he's being satire. I hope this is comedy.
I was getting phone calls and shit too. It was really annoying. Anyway, didn't make any payments for like a year. And apparently there's something called like a default. At least that's what the federal agent that showed up at my door told me happened to my loan. And I was like, what are you gonna do? Drag me to federal prison? Come on, be real. He's like, we're gonna garnish your wages. We're gonna take your tax return. I was like, I don't get any of that anyway. I got a film studies degree. There are no wages to garnish. So anyway, I tried.
There are no wages to garnish. Folks, I hope he's joking, but he may not be joking. A lot of people feel like they got fooled into getting loans and then they got tricked. And he's saying that he was told that these were financial aid. In other words, that he wouldn't have to pay them back. Come to find out they're loans. Let me know if he's serious or not, but we're going to talk about this and a lot more stuff regarding the economy, the broader big picture of the economy. But let's finish up what he has to say here.
Filing for bankruptcy, and that didn't even work.
All right, folks. So we're seeing a lot of people, especially people with loans, that have to be repaid now. Student loans. And we even saw this with car loans. When they paused car loans for many years, since 2020, they resumed car loans. And people said, I shouldn't have to pay these car loans. It's not fair. I lost my job. A lot of people didn't get the job they expected to get with their college degree. Some did, but many didn't. And there's going to be a big something hitting the fan likely this summer because wages are about to be garnished. All right. And that guy talking, I'm not sure why he didn't have a shirt on or if he was even serious, but it sounds like he's for real. I don't think he's joking, but he's going to have, sounds like federal agents knocking on your door. I'm not sure if I even believe that. That's crazy. I mean, let me know if that's a real thing. I haven't heard of that. And I've been digging through the news on this stuff for years, and I've never heard of federal agents coming to somebody's door for a loan debt, right? So I hope that's incorrect, but if it's correct, that's pretty scary. But that's just the worst case scenario, what people have to deal with. There's now wage garnishment, things that are going to be affecting their credit scores. These delinquencies are already, not going to be, already affecting people's credit scores. We've seen people reporting 50 point, 100 point, 150 point, 100. I even seen one that was 180 point drop in their credit score for being several months delinquent on these loans here. So, but let's hear from somebody else that says there should be no excuse. You were 18, probably maybe 19 when you signed for these loans. When you got out of high school, you wanted to go to continue your education, and you're a legal adult, but now a lot of people don't want to accept responsibility. By the way, let me give you that last person's name so you can follow him if you want to. All right, now that I'm looking at his screen name, I think he's a jokester. He's a prankster. LL Barrel Lunatic. So look him up. Let me just look at a couple of his other videos here. Just off screen here real quick. Oh yeah, all his videos are the same. He's got no shirt on. He's like talking crazy expressions. All right, but anyways, you guys get the picture. There are people out there like that, even though that guy was doing satire, I think. But listen to someone that says there shouldn't be any excuse, because we all know, probably we should know, that a lot of people are not repaying these loans. It's in the tens of millions of people now that are defaulting on these loans. And a big portion of them are saying, hey, we need to have this debt erased, the debt forgiven. We shouldn't have to pay it back. We were tricked. Right, lots of other things that they're saying, but listen to this person right here, and I'll give you the screen name before we start paying it here. This is going to be, so you can look her up if you want to. This is Andronique Marie. Andronique Marie, all one word. And let's bring it up here and take a listen.
So let me get this straight. They made you go to college and then they made you take out a loan. when you were 18 and didn't know what you were doing. So the amount of nonsense that I'm hearing on this app around the student loan repayment is crazy. And all it boils down to is lack of accountability. My daughter went to college. She went to Clark Atlanta. We didn't qualify for financial aid. And she would call me and say, Mom, my friends are getting credit cards and they're taking out loans. And I told her, because she was only 18, and you know when you're 18, you don't know anything. That's what you guys are trying to say. And I told her, as her parent, don't you dare take a credit card and don't you dare take out a loan.
Don't you dare take out a loan. Don't you dare take out a credit card. How many other parents do you think are actually saying that? Probably not many.
And let me tell you why. And we had a whole little conversation about loan repayment and FICO scores. So I don't want to hear that when you were 18, someone forced you to go to college and then made you take out a loan. Because
True. They forced me to go to college, right? I don't know anyone that says they were forced to go to college. Maybe your parents pressured you into going to college. But how many other parents talk to their kids like this? I'm thinking not very many. All right, let's just listen to a little bit more here.
a lot of y'all are hundreds of $1,000s in debt, not from a 4-year college stint. It's because you went back to college as an adult when you had, when you knew what you were doing, because apparently when you were 18, no one told you what a loan was, even though you signed for it. Stop. Take accountability. No one cares that you have bills to pay and all these things. If you had a mortgage right now, you couldn't say, I'm not paying it. And then I heard people saying, well, a mortgage and an auto loan is not the same. I do agree that those student loans were predatory, 100%. They were at the campuses throwing Amex cards at these kids. But that doesn't give you an excuse for not paying your bills and not paying your loan back. Loans are not free money. Who did you think was going to pay it in the event you couldn't? Like, I don't understand why there's so much discourse.
Loans are not free money? Interesting. Well, unless they told you that it was financial aid. Anyways, folks, we knew this was going to happen. We knew that tens of millions of people were not going to be able to repay these. And we talked about the people that actually worked hard to pay off their loans, or people that said, no, thank you. I don't want to take out a loan. I don't want a credit card. I don't want to go into debt for an education because maybe this education won't pay as much as I need to pay off the loan and to actually keep up with everything else, the cost of living, just life, right? So very few parents actually prepared their kids for the real world financially is what it boils down to. There's a few parents like the one we just heard from that I think did a very good job. But a lot of people did sacrifice and did pay back their loans, and many people didn't take out loans. They went to community college instead, something they could probably just pay cash for. Or maybe they got small loans and paid them off over the course of their education where they didn't have to carry them into their 30s, 40s, 50s. We even see people in their 70s now and beyond still with student loan debt, which is pretty outrageous. All right, but let's talk about the broader economy here, folks. We also have some things coming up this summer that are going to affect students here. We're going to hear from a few more individuals here. But first, take a look at some of this news here. Look what we have here, folks. Millions face wage deductions over student loans this summer and fall, folks. That is wage garnishment. They're calling it wage deduction. They're going to be taking funds out of your paycheck, unfortunately. For hopefully not you, I'm saying you, but hopefully not you, but for many, many people, maybe some of you watching. And let me know down in the comments if this is are you in this category? And do you feel like you were tricked? Do you feel like you were misled into getting these loans? If this is you, and then if you don't have a loan, if you're someone that avoided getting loans and worked and paid for your college as you went, or maybe went to community college instead, or didn't go to college. I know couple people right now that didn't go to any college, and some of them are doing very, very well. One person I know in my family, actually, an in-law making $200,000 plus a year, no college degree, just through being smart, hustling, being business savvy, and being very consumer friendly or people friendly, a very good people person, a good talker, a good salesperson. But when he's selling you things, he doesn't seem like he's selling things because he's having a real pleasant conversation usually in the course of selling. Anyways, let's get on to this here, talk more about this here. This summer, millions of federal student borrowers may default and face measures like wage garnishment, borrows. Lost income is just one way the consumer's financial lives could be impacted. For lenders, gray credit history and decimated credit scores could turn one-time good prospects into risky ones. So many people will be no longer qualifying for loans, for credit cards, unless they loosen the lending to make up for all these people that are going to have really, really banged up credit scores and delinquencies on their record and wage garnishment. When they're looking at your income, they're going to have to deduct the wages that are being garnished and the funds that are being garnished every month from your income. So how many more people or less people will be qualifying for loans because of this, right? It's going to be interesting to watch this summer, folks. So we're already seeing the beginnings of it, but we haven't seen this hit full stride yet. And I think we're going to see fireworks pop off here this summer, here in the next couple months especially. And here's how they put it over at another news outlet here. This could be the summer of economic hell. That's not me saying that, folks. That's a mainstream news source right here. This could be the summer of economic hell in the face of higher tariffs. And we're also likely to see finally the repercussions of these tariffs finally hit the store shelves. Remember, stores stocked up for months and months and months. They did a lot of ordering before the tariffs kicked in so they could have their warehouses full of stuff. So we haven't seen the price increases yet. July 9th marks the end of the 90-day pause on these reciprocal tariffs. Unless those countries reach a trade deal, they could potentially face much higher tariffs, folks. So what's going to happen, nobody knows. I mean, there's so many things that are kind of up in the air right now with tariff pauses and 90-day lower tariffs. Will they go back up after 90 days? Will they extend it? Nobody knows. A lot of uncertainty. And when there's uncertainty, there is a definitely slowdown in the economy because people are afraid. They're afraid to take on debt. They're afraid to take on that vacation. And a lot of people are pulling back. Not everybody. But there's plenty of people out there not even afraid to take on debt because who knows why? Who knows what the reason is? Maybe they feel like it can all be discharged at the end of the day. But let's hear from a few more people on what's happening right now in the situation here. And another one, a big one that's been coming up a lot lately. People can't afford to repair their vehicles, unfortunately, here. Let's take a listen here.
I'm in Texas in the 90-plus degree weather in the middle of summer in my car. I'm not even in a shaded spot because I can't move my car. I was doing food deliveries to make money. Can't do.
If you're not in the shade, put that car in neutral and push it because it's hot. In Texas, I think she's in Texas. Sitting in the sun, folks, in the car, no way. Get somebody to help you put that thing in neutral and push it. All right, let's continue here.
Those without a running car. I can't even get the car towed to a mechanic to see if it's going to be worth it to try to get it fixed. Yeah.
Right, people, here's another one. This guy goes by the name of the screen name, Does This Matter to Me? Talking about he can barely afford these prices. Take a listen.
He was able to get. How much did it cost to fix my daughter's used Kia? I bought it for college. Recently, my daughter called me crying driving back from college. The battery light was on and the lights in the car were dimming, and she was on the highway and having trouble keeping control of the car. I'm not mechanical in any way, but I immediately knew that it was probably the alternator. She was able to get the car off the road and into a parking lot, and then I was able to get the car running enough to get it to a shop without having a tow truck fee. The shop called me the next day to let me know the car was fixed and they had replaced the alternator in the battery. Kind of had a feeling this was going to happen. I asked how much the damage was. Now, in my mind, I was thinking $400, maybe $500. But when they told me over $800, I was shocked. But then I looked at the prices for parts, and when did batteries get so damn expensive?
Over $800 repair. Something that they didn't expect, just out of nowhere. $800. Surprise. How many people have that extra money on the side to just go ahead and pay it?
If people can't afford new cars anymore, and it's too expensive to fix their old cars, what are we going to do? I mean, 56% of Americans can't afford $1,000 for an emergency like this.
There you go, folks. What are people going to do? You can't afford a new car. Used cars, you can't afford to repair them when they break down. I say when they break down because you're going to break down eventually in a used car. There are some good ones though. I was just talking to my neighbor earlier. Subaru Forester with 190,000 miles. Not many problems at all. One little electrical issue with the door lock. No, the window, the automatic windows. One other thing he said was very minor, but 190,000 miles, very minor. And by the way, the car looks really good. He kept it in the garage so it doesn't have a bunch of sun damage on the paint. But one more here on car repair costs, folks. And these are just little microcosms of what's happening over the broader economy. We're going to tie this in here in a few minutes with what's happening, the big picture economically. But let's listen to one more here. Check this one out. And folks, before I play this, this person goes under the name Bridgel Rose. Bridgel Rose. Before we go into this here, people used to only get on social media to show off. And of course, we see a lot of people doing dance videos, singing, trying to talk about how successful they are. A lot of gurus telling you how to get rich quick. But now we're seeing more people come out there and saying, hey, I need help. I'm struggling. I can't afford this. I can't afford that. And those videos are picking up a lot of steam because a lot of people are in the same boat. All right, so let's take a listen to what she has to say about her car breakdown and in need of repair experience. If I could play it. Here we go.
So I am walking to a dentist appointment today. I tried driving, but my car has, again, just stalled out on me. It's something to do with the transmission. I bought this car sometime like January, and
she bought the car within a year. Transmission problems, folks.
not even a week after driving it, it has just put on me on the road. First it was the clutch, then it had to do with the oil leaking everywhere, and it was going to affect the transmission, and now it's the transmission. So I can't leave Vegas, and now I don't have anywhere to go out to Michigan because the amount of bills that I have, trying to take care of this car on top of car insurance. And
so the audio is a little bit low. Sounds like she's in Las Vegas and she's from Michigan and she can't get back. Somebody in comments on this video said, date a mechanic. All repairs are free. Hopefully, if you're dating somebody, hopefully they won't charge you.
I don't have a way to pay rent. So luckily, one blessing was answered and I'm allowed to stay and care for my mom. But I can't park a non-drivable car, nor can I afford keeping it at this point. Everyone's telling me to at least try to sell it and get my money back. Midas, they're watching over my car. They even said that they're gonna try to order a transmission and put it in just so that I can even sell it. So I don't know anything about cars. I don't even know how, like, clearly buying one, I won't even know how to start selling one that.
All right, so you guys get the picture. Bridgel Rose there, but look her up if you want to maybe chat with her and see how she's doing, or just follow her. But more and more people are doing this, folks. Transmission, it's going to be a lot of money. I think one of maybe my second car I ever bought had transmission problems, and back then, it wasn't even 20 years old yet. I was already I probably had 3 cars by the time I was 20. Started driving. I just started driving until I was close to 18 though. Because my parents made me save up for half of the car. They helped me with half of it, but I had to pay for the other half. So, yeah, I didn't really start driving my own vehicle until I was 18, and I had 3 cars then in 2 years because I don't think I was 20 by the time I got this vehicle, which had transmission problems. And I bought it because it looked cool. I didn't really care how good it ran, had high miles, but it looked cool, so I bought it. My parents weren't active enough to make me have a little more common sense back then. But yeah, folks, are going through a lot of tough times right now. If you're somebody going through tough times, you're not alone. It's exploding across social media. So many people putting it out there, how they're having difficulty, having a tough time. And the scary part is things are likely going to get worse. Look at all the things that are going to be happening this summer with the wage garnishment. And that's going to be more job losses. And we have a lot of other things happening with, federally, the federal layoffs are continuing. They're trying to stop them. There's kind of a battle going on right now, court hearings and things like that. But a lot of battles happening, a lot of things up in the air right now, a lot of uncertainty, wage situations not keeping up with costs still rising, right? Inflation's still happening. Even though it's slowing, costs are still going up. So things don't look like they're going to get much easier for most people. In fact, they're about to get even harder. And let's hear from one more person. This is going to be a little bit of a different topic. Look what they're doing, folks. I had to include this in this video. They're doing massive shrinkflation, and they're trying to hide it. Look at this person here, and listen to this person, what she says happened with a little chapstick thing here. I forgot what it's called. Let's take a look. Look at this.
Promise you are gonna want to hear this. We bought some Carmex chapstick today. My son did. This is so disappointing. Brand new Carmex chapstick. I put the wrapper back on so I could take it off and show you. Look at this.
Folks, look at this. They hid it under the wrapper. So I don't know why she took the wrapper off of it to see what's in it. Maybe she suspected that it was a very lightweight. Look at that. That's how much is in the tube. If she's being legit. I mean, have you seen this? If you have chapstick, maybe check it out. I don't have any. I don't use chapstick. I use like coconut oil and stuff, which I think is great. But some people use chapstick. Check it out. If you peel your wrapper off, or if you just look in there or push it all the way up to see how much is in there. Is this for real, folks? Look at this. That is like maybe 1/3, maybe even 1/4 of the entire like cylinder, how much it could actually hold. That's shrinkflation, folks. And maybe they've always been doing that, and maybe people just never peeled the wrapper off to really check out underneath it, folks. But you're getting less for your money. Costs are going up. Loans are becoming due for tens of millions of people. Wages garnished. How does this all end up, folks? Well, there's not really any solutions being discussed right now. There's different things they're doing here and there to kind of help some people over here, and it's going to hurt people over there, right? So a lot of things happening, but nothing on a broad scale to actually help things, because we're just throwing helicopter money at the problem. It all goes back to the source of money and the fact that you can just throw trillions of dollars into the economy and basically flood the economy with money. But that only makes inflation worse, right? We need more people working in manufacturing and service areas in order to offset this. But we have a lot of people spending mostly borrowed money and not enough people willing to work hard. And now a lot of the people that are working hard are being sent away, if you know what I'm saying, sent a long ways away. And that's going to make things even more challenging for a lot of people, but not everybody. If you're in the right position, you can benefit from this. I just had somebody email me earlier today and thanking me. They had bought silver because of what I had talked about on this channel in the $14 range. Now we're seeing silver close to $36. So they've more than doubled their money in like 6 years, and a few more dollars once it gets to $42, which is we're only $6 away from $42. Once we get to $42, that'll be tripling your money, right? The stock market hasn't tripled in 6 years. The housing market hasn't tripled in 6 years. Silver outperformed all these other markets, folks. If you would have bought right when we first started talking about it. Now, obviously, if you bought at 36, or whatever it's been over the past few days, you're not up. You're barely breaking even. Some people bought at 30. The price went back down to like 27. Now it's back up again, folks. But long term, you're doing pretty good. If you just that one investment, you'd be almost tripling your money. And there's a lot more where that came from, right? We're gonna cover it all here. We're gonna talk about investment, ways to take advantage of this situation, and having dry powder and waiting for a buying opportunity, which I think some big buying opportunities are around the corner. Maybe this fall, but definitely within a year. I don't like to put timelines on things because there's so many things they could do to kick the can down the road. Obviously, we've seen it over many years, continuously kicking the can down the road. Does it end? Will there be something so big drop, for lack of a better term, that it has to put an end to all this? Folks, we're going to talk about that and more in our next report. Please make sure you subscribe. Let me know what you think about this, the shrinkflation and the chapstick. The guy at the beginning who we found out was a joker. but he's sounding like a lot of people sound, like they don't want to repay their loans. They feel like they were tricked and misled, and they want the loans forgiven. What do you think about all this? Let me know. As always, keep stacking. Bye for now, everybody. Peace.